originally, a few months ago when his campaign first started, when he first announced, I had the opportunity to interview the young man himself. Had a robot, they don't have to stop and do a pit stop. They don't have to stop to eat.
Nope.
They don't even have to stop to sleep. Just think about the insurance, the low cost of insurance. I don't even know if you need insurance for the actual driver, maybe for the vehicle, but just a big upside to the companies to go robotics, right?
Yeah, $168 billion in savings per year, not just in labor costs, but trucks never stop. Fuel efficiency goes up because they have the trucks like go right behind each other, so there's less wind resistance, fewer accidents because truck drivers get into accidents and kill 4,000 people a year. So you could say they're probably going to save lives with robot trucks. I was running the numbers, Tim. It's actually cost efficient to make a new highway just for robot trucks that goes from Western Pennsylvania to Nevada and just say, hey, robot trucks only, because they can just get on that thing and just like freaking motor.
I like some of the things he was saying. I like that he spent the time with the truck drivers. I like those things. That's cool to me. That's what you should do. You should get out amongst the people and find out what's going on with them. Find out where the pain really is. And he had a new idea, an idea that I'd heard about, hadn't really dug into, called universal basic income. But his flavor of it was a freedom dividend. Well, recently, after being pretty much overlooked in the media, man, like totally ignored, kicked to the curb, Andrew Yang has been getting a little bit more respect, man. I mean, he should get respect. The guy's polling well. People care about his candidacy. It's not what you like, MSNBC or CNN or CBS or ABC. It's what the people like, right? Come on, Chip, you know that's not true. So who their donors like, dummy? Come on, dummy. Well, it's supposed to be what the people want is what you show, but you know, hey. In a weird world, upside-down world, maybe the people would drive what they show us. So Andrew Yang was recently on CNN's Van Jones show. The Van Jones show, I forget the name of it, but you all know Van Jones. And they had a conversation. I got a couple clips from it. Let's risk it all, Johnson, and see if they'll let me play them.
How are you going to beat Donald Trump?
Well, I like math, and I'm one of two Democratic candidates in the field that 10% or more of Donald Trump voters said that they would support. So if I'm the Democratic nominee, we win the whole thing.
I got to stop it there, guys. I got to stop it there. Yeah, because, you know, I never liked Andrew Yang saying, you know, I like math. Oh, you know, I like math. It's just, and I get it. There are a lot of Asian folks who don't give a shit. They're like, I guess because Asian guys like a math, though it is a stereotype, it's a positive one. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe there's a bit of solidarity because we're the odd people out. We're not white in a country that's, white, Yeah, I mean, for the most part, made for white folks. Everybody else just extras. Pick that up, move that over there, extra, Fix that railroad, extra. Pick the coffee bean or whatever, extra. Bale this cotton, extra. Everybody else is extra. But I don't know, but something, man, like it bothers me whenever he does that. And he does it all the time. Well, me, I like math. I couldn't get up there and be like, me, I like breakdancing. Every black person in America would simultaneously throw a brick at their TV. Yeah, me, I like beatboxing. They'd be like, what? Me, I like weed. It'd be like, what the hell? It'd be like it'd be like being a coon or something. Y'all don't feel that at all? Look, I know it's not my place to judge because I'm not Asian, but I just thought I'd point that out. It's just weird. I wish he wouldn't do it. But you know what's so bad about it? It's kind of funny. It is funny. But, I feel like people are laughing at him, not with him. And you know what else is bad about it? Most people like it. And that's how messed up we are, Johnson. We're that messed up. We're a self-deprecating joke about your race gets people laughing. Anyway, the other part of this, before I go to the next clip, Andrew Yang says it's a lie. I don't think I agree with it, man. He says, well, 10% of people does this a lot. 10% of people or Trump supporters said they would vote for me. I'm only one of two candidates, or 10% of us say that they would vote for me. And so if you pick me, then obviously we win the whole thing. And yeah, that's assuming that every Democrat comes out and votes for you and that people that wouldn't normally vote come out and vote for you. And I don't think you prove that. I don't think you just saying because you're a seventh that means every Democrat would just come out and be like, hey, and every independent would just be like, yeah. Just because there's some there's some Trump supporters who would vote for you. Do you don't think there'd be some people who might stay home, Johnson? I mean, it took a whole lot for America to accept like Obama. I mean, he had to put on the show of shows. He had an acting performance. Listen, hey, when I was out there in those streets in Chicago, out there helping those teachers and working in the community, you were on the board of Walmart. He had moments, man. He had to perform. He had to do the Jay-Z. Oh, yeah, sometimes you got to, yeah. Remember that? I'm just saying, man, it took a whole lot for Obama to get past the force field of racism. But you think, because there's some Trump supporters who will vote for you, just think that everybody's just going to vote for you. Just say, like, that's it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying you just say it like it's a given. Like, yeah, if you pick me, we win the whole thing. Like, nah, they could pick you and lose too. Yeah, they could pick you and lose too. And they start doing opposition research on you, which none has been done yet. Yeah. But anyway, we're going to go to the next clip. Because I can feel the Yang Gang mad. Yang Gang is mad. Don't worry, all of it won't be negative. Calm down, Yang Gang. Let's go to the next clip.
How are you going to beat Donald Trump?
Well, I like math.
That's kind of given you a little bit of a leg up in your policy proposals, universal basic income. Tell us a little bit more. It's such a big conversation in California, not a big conversation anyplace else. What is UBI and why will it work?
Well, if you've heard anything about me and my campaign, you've heard that I want to give every American adult $1,000 a month. And this seems far out or futuristic to some, but this is a deeply American idea.
Yeah, it sounds like a gimmick almost.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But then Thomas Paine was for it, Martin Luther King championed it, and it is what he was fighting for when he was assassinated in 1968. And one state has had a dividend in place for almost 40 years, Alaska, which gives $1,000 to $2,000 in oil money to every Alaskan every single year.
Gotta stop it there again. Gotta bring up another point that it's not going to have Yang Gang people happy. They're going to be upset, and I understand it, and that's cool. I hate when he says that Martin Luther King championed for UBI. I don't like that. I don't like it, Johnson. Look, first of all, guys, for the record, right? He didn't champion for UBI. Andrew Yang says this was something that MLK was fighting for before he was assassinated in 1968. No. He's fighting for poor people. Poor people in jobs. Remember? Listen, guys. MLK's March on Washington was called the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Let me repeat that, because I think a lot of people didn't look this up. MLK's March on Washington, that's not the entire name of the march. MLK's March on Washington, which was his last march, it was called the March for Jobs and Freedom. So, if MLK died trying to get UBI, which is not a job, why did he put jobs and freedom in the name of the march? Okay, so it's not a complete lie what Andrew's saying, because MLK did speak fondly of UBI as an option, But he also talks much about jobs guarantees as well. He said that every American should be given a job in some way, some public works job, should have that available to them as a last resort so that they could be productive and have the ability to take care of their families. He said that. Andrew Yang, you're not being honest. Now, you're cherry picking. He supported UBI, but he also supported the federal jobs guarantee of some type. Okay? He supported both. But you leave that out. And I know you're not obligated to say the thing that doesn't support your campaign. I get that. But my thing is, I want both. Why come we can't have a federal jobs guarantee and a UBI? I mean, it's all our money, right? I mean, the federal government only has money. Well, we know they print their own stuff through the Federal Reserve, but barring that reality, any money that the federal government has it because they take it from us, right? Right? Either us by bombing, or either bombing another country, and where they get the money to do that? By taxing the hell out of us, Johnson. So why come we can't, when you say this is our country, we can run it how we want it, why can't we be even more aggressive? Why can't we be even more visionary and say, give me a federal jobs guarantee and give me UBI? Yeah. Now, I understand. And one of the things was MLK said he didn't like the idea that they did this training thing. So there are a lot of things that Andrew says that MLK supported, Martin Luther King Jr. supported, the late great Martin Luther King. The idea we stop doing like Martin Luther King Jr. was against this whole training thing, training for jobs that don't exist thing, or those the failed job training programs they've been sending to people in these rural areas, these areas hit so hard by this, and meanwhile it's not successful. Like, all of that's true. All of that's backed up. We knew that 50 years ago, Johnson. The thing is, you got to have a job first. So MLK said give them jobs first. Give them a job, then train them for the job while they got the job. That's what you do. That's how you do it. Now I'm going to move on. But I had to slide that in there, man, because we got to stop saying MLK died for UBI. He didn't. That's the connotation. Oh, no, Tim, you got to listen to the whole thing. He didn't specifically say he died for it. When he died and when he was assassinated, he was fighting for it. The march was for jobs and freedom. All right.
What do you say to people who say people don't just want a check, they want a job?
I'm going to ask the people here in the studio audience, how many of you think that if you were getting $1,000 a month, you would work harder? Oh, look at that. Virtually everyone. How many of you think that you would just hit the sofa and never get up?
They're like, we're on television, we can't raise our hand.
Well, but if everyone watching this reflects on that, no one's going to quit their job on $1,000 a month unless they're in a truly abusive or exploitative situation, at which point they probably should be able to leave.
That I like. Yeah, I like that part. I like what he's saying there because I believe he's right about it. I believe that anybody who quits their job because they got $1,000 a month must have a really bad job. So, like, no complaints, nothing. I think he's dead on the money. That needs to be a message that is said more often. And I don't think, I mean, you know, you're always going to have some people who lay on the couch and do nothing, but you can't use the worst common denominator and say that's an excuse not to do something. Oh, yeah, if you do that, Johnson, if we give out free food, then somebody's going to eat so much food, they're going to get fat, Johnson. We can't give free food. Why are you don't use the worst person as your reason to avoid putting humanity first? What about the best case scenario? You got people that really are going hungry. Kids who only meal they really are sure to get is the one they get at school. What about those people? What about the 40% of homeless people that have jobs that don't make enough to live indoors? What about those people? So, good job, Andrew Yang. Told you I wasn't always going to be negative. But I'm going to keep it real, though. 100.
Hey, listen, I want to talk with you very, very seriously. There's this guy, Shane Gillis, comedian, Saturday Night Live, got caught on a podcast saying disparaging things about Asian Americans, saying disparaging things about you personally. everybody says, this guy should be fired, this guy should be canceled. And you did it.
Well, the first reaction I had was obviously hostility, confusion, anger. And so I did what came naturally to me, which was I sat down with my wife and actually watched some of Shane's comedy just to try and get a sense as to who he was and where he was coming from. And after I watched some of his work for, let's say, 45 minutes or so, I looked at my wife and we talked about it. And then we both thought that he was not evil or malignant or really hateful and actually advocating, for any kind of racist ideology, that he struck me as a still figuring it out comedian from central Pennsylvania who told some terrible and offensive jokes.
Right.
And that to me did not rise to a level where he should lose his job.
Wow.
And so and as someone who was personally actually called out, then I thought, well, if anyone should be offended, it's me.
Right.
And if I don't think he should lose his job, then I should probably say something to that effect, because maybe it would make a difference.
Yeah. Makes you like him. Makes you respect him. It's hard not to like a guy who's level-headed. I mean, we like our loose cannons too. I'm a loose cannon, but I like to be a level-headed loose cannon. So, and I agree with him, man. I mean, hey, if the guy Shane Gillis was talking about him, and he's not super butthurt about it, what are you so outraged about? And I know there'll be somebody saying, well, he doesn't speak for all of us, and he was just he can't say that, and it's not up to him. Okay, well, he makes jokes about himself that I question why he does it. Okay. But I shut up because it's not my business. Fine. And Shane Gillis made jokes, and he said, hey, bad jokes, but I don't think he should lose his career over it. Or his job. And let's face it, guys, like being on SNL is a career-changing opportunity, man. So I just think it makes Yang more likable. I only hope that that's how he really feels. Because I don't know, but if that's how he really feels, that's how he feels. And I hope it wasn't politics. I hope that's him being authentic. And if so, which I imagine is true, I mean, look, somebody says some jokes about you that aren't true. Like, how upset are you supposed to be anyway? It's not like he was trying to destroy Yang's image or livelihood. I mean, he was making some dumb jokes. So anyway, I'm going to keep it moving. We got one more clip of Yang. And this one. This is my favorite clip. So wait for this one.
Special problems that special groups have, don't you need special solutions for, say, African Americans, for women, for other groups? Some people say Yang wants to do this instead of having a racial justice initiative or gender justice initiative. How do you respond to that?
I agree that we need much more than this foundation or floor. I see the freedom dividend as a base to build on. It's like the floor, $1,000 a month, where we can meet our basic needs, but that doesn't solve the problems. Then you have to start working on racial inequities, on gender inequities. We need to build a house on top of the foundation.
What's an Andrew Yang-style racial justice initiative on top of the freedom dividend?
On the criminal justice side, first I want to legalize marijuana nationwide. I want to go a step further. I want to pardon everyone who's in jail for a nonviolent marijuana-related offense on April 20th, 2021.
You got your first round of applause. We might have some nonviolent drug offenders in here.
I want to get rid of private prisons. It makes no sense to have prisons that have a profit motivation on the other side. I want to get rid of a punitive cash bail system that essentially throws people in jail for being poor.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a bunch of structural problems that we can fix, and I'm happy to say most Americans on both sides of the aisle now agree that our current criminal justice system is not working.
Yeah.
Make sure we're good. Okay. That was my favorite, Johnson, right there. I like that one. Man, he said something that I admire and I appreciate, and I think it needs to be said more often. He said his freedom dividend is just a floor. It's the floor just to get it started. But we got more party favorites coming on in here. Come on, guys. Bring on in criminal justice reform. Oh, yeah, you thought I was done with the freedom dividend? Nah, that's not going to solve our problems. We got other stuff to do, too. That's only part of the problem, Johnson. We need to get in here, get rid of these private prisons. Get private prisons out of here. Hey, get the private prisons out of here. We also need to get rid of cash bail. Gone, baby. It's gone. Look at the cash bail. Flying away, baby. Gone, bye-bye. Also, we want to legalize marijuana. That's right. Make the sticky, icky legal everywhere. And not just that. We're going to go a step further. And what we're going to do is we're going to expunge records of all nonviolent drug abusers. Anything related to just having weed on you. Oh, you got weed on them. Okay. So I like that. And I think it was well done, well received. I think a lot of people felt it in that audience, but more than that, I think people felt it at home of what, fleshing out a little bit about what Andrew Yang is about. And I've always said this, guys, nobody's perfect and no candidate is perfect. Bernie's pretty close to it though. But I'll say this. I'm gonna keep it real. That part I like. All right, I liked a couple parts. I didn't like a couple parts. Okay, but all in all, one thing I like is getting more opportunity to be on the stage and being able to speak and being in the media. And there are other parts I left out just to avoid any copyright issues. But he was saying how, hey, I don't think the media knew what to do with me because, they're like, oh, is this guy going to be here? And now that I'm going to be here, I'm in the top 6 or 7 in a field of 20. I'm going to be here through the duration. They're going to have to deal with me. They're going to have to put me out there. They're going to have to interview me and treat me like a legitimate candidate. So that's great, and they should have to do that, right? But I still disagree about the UBI, though. I do, man. Like, I just think there are parts of it. I still got questions. I think people need jobs. I know when I was a young man, and those other kids were getting their UBI, were getting their federal jobs guarantees in the form of living in D.C. I could throw a rock and it would land in D.C. That's how close I live to D.C., Johnson. But I couldn't get a job because I didn't live in D.C. where they was giving jobs to the teenage kids, man. And you're going to tell me that people don't want a federal job, man? I would have took a federal job so quick you have no idea, man. It would have beat working at Roy Rogers, man. So, all right, guys, and and there are adults, there are grown people, there are people with families working 2 and 3 jobs, one at Walmart, one at Best Buy, or one at McDonald's or Burger King or what have you, or Popeyes serving up the new Popeyes chicken sandwich, who would rather have a federal job, man. So, I don't know. So I do know. I know that I differ with that opinion of these people who say, oh, work for the government. Oh, my God. Yeah. You could be working at the public park. Anyway, so let me keep it moving, guys. Now, remember, the reason why I can talk so boldly and plainly about any issue is because I'm not brought and paid for. Only people that pay for this show are you. All right? So become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack by going to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. Also, find me on Facebook, the Speak On It group, Tim Black Speak On It group. You find it there. Join up, become a member. If you do for at least $5 a month, you get a Tim Black Wolfpack gift pack. All right?